Hey, I'm one of your fellow ECON101 classmates, and I was told that you don't know what taxes and deadweight loss are. Well, you're in luck. Today, I'll be discussing how taxes create a deadweight loss and how some taxes can result in a larger deadweight loss than others. So, let's jump into it. Alright, so really quickly, before we get into the findings of this topic, I want to roughly go over what consumer and producer surplus is when the market doesn't have any outside factors affecting it. Looking at the graph, we have two lines, the demand line representing consumers and the supply line representing producers. As the lines cross, they create equilibrium price and quantity. Below the demand line and above the equilibrium price, this is how much value consumers are getting, what they have to pay. So that's our consumer surplus. Now, above the supply line and below the price equilibrium, this is our producer surplus. This is how much more the producers are getting relative to the opportunity cost of selling their good or service. So now let's look at one of the main interventions in a market, taxes. Essentially, taxes are a mandatory payment made by the government. They create a wedge between the price buyers pay and the price sellers receive. This wedge lowers the quantity bought and sold on the market and also is an indicator of how much revenue the government will make. You may notice in the graph the area highlighted in red. This is the government's revenue from the tax implemented into the market. So knowing what we know, how do taxes create a deadweight loss? Well, in short, deadweight loss are lost gains from trade caused by market inefficiency. In our case, the value of revenue not being made up because of tax. Notice the difference between the two graphs presented. On the left is a market with zero interventions. We only have consumer and producer surplus. And on the right, we see a market with the intervention of government tax. As a result, deadweight loss occurs because of the market inefficiency. Let's use a real-world example to further elaborate on how taxes create deadweight loss. In many countries, such as Canada, taxes on sugary beverages have been implemented to combat rising rates of obesity and related health issues. This tax is known as the sugar tax. So notice our initial equilibrium when the price per pop is $2.50. We're able to sell 4 million bottles per day. Let's say in our example, a sugar tax of $1 is implemented per pop, thus increasing the price to $3.50 and creating a new equilibrium within our market. So now the price buyers are willing to pay at equilibrium is $3 per pop, while sellers are only selling 3 million bottles per day now. So what happened? Well, because of the tax, we lost part of our consumer and producer surplus, creating a deadweight loss. The part highlighted in yellow represents the loss in surplus. Now let's say Canada increased the sugar tax to $2. The price of pop now is $4.50 and a new equilibrium is created. Price buyers pay increases to $3.50 per pop and sellers start only selling 2 million bottles a day. We start to notice a pattern. As the tax increases, the loss in total surplus also increases, creating a larger deadweight loss. Taxes cause buyers to buy less, and therefore, less quantity is sold, jeopardizing both buyers and sellers.